heavenlies. And then there's the subjecting aspect of the power that subjects everything to the rule of Christ. That is also going to be by the working of his power. The new creation, the new heavens and the new earth, will completely be subjected to the resurrection power of Christ. And it's all one power. It's one act that God accomplished that's producing all of this. We look at all these things as different things, but really it's one great act of power that's stretching from the time of the resurrection of Christ all the way through time and into eternity. One great act of God's mighty power when he raised Christ from the dead is making everything new, starting with the church. That's why the power is towards us who believe, right? And has put all things under his feet. So this new heavens and the new earth will be subjected to him. And this comes back to his headship. What's his goal? To head up everything in Christ in heavens and in earth. And how does he do it? By sending this power out towards the church. He's put all things under his feet, and here's the fourth point, and gave him to be head over all things to the church, which is his body, the fullness the fullness of him that fills all in all. So this great mighty power of God that raised Christ from the dead and sat him at his right hand, so that he transcends everything and has fixed him there and is upholding him in his power. Christ is being upheld in his power, in the power of God and in the power of his resurrection. It's now heading everything up. But the way it's doing it is by giving him to be head over all things to the church. So the church is the first group to be headed up in Christ by the working of his power. Everything in our life that brings us to Christ. See, the headship of Christ is not an outward rule with us. It is an inward regulation by life. It's organic, and it's of his resurrection, and it's by the working of his power. And that power is what draws us to love him and draws our hearts and softens us and conquers the flesh and the strength of the flesh. So you go, look at all this power. It's so mighty, and you think of like a hammer hitting a nail, and that sounds brutal and unnuanced. But God's power is full of nuance, and there's a fine touch to his work. So this power is able to touch us like a paintbrush and paint Christ on us in a very sweet and gentle way that doesn't damage us and blow us out of the water, right? You'd be terrified if that power were just to be released in an undiluted way, but the way he distributes the power is sweet. And his love is backed by this power. And our love for him is backed by this power. And the way he becomes head over all things to us is that we increasingly have a revelation that he is everything.